Are you ready to walk the Odinic path? It will profoundly change you. You'll hate him, you'll love him. You will learn so much about yourself and the world. But it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Nearly 9 years ago, I had my first experience with the Norse god Odin. Almost 7 years ago, I started this YouTube channel, titling it The Wisdom of Odin, sharing my experience with Norse paganism. 6 years ago, I put out on my small YouTube channel at the time that I wanted to celebrate the Norse gods in Kentucky, and I wanted to see if anyone wanted to join me. Last month, I put on my final Odinic ritual, and in this video, I want to share what that experience has been like, what it's been like worshiping Odin for 9 years, what I learned from putting on rituals in his honor. I also want to share some warnings against starting the Odinic path and who it's really for. And I'm going to be sharing what I'm going to be focusing on next and why I have walked away from Odin, at least for some time. I do want to have a brief disclaimer section here before we get too far along. I'm not coming at this from a scholarly angle. I have read a lot of source material, of course. This is mostly coming from my experiences of being an Odinic follower myself for many years. So this has a lot of my own personal experiences, a lot of my own personal opinions, even though the name of my channel for a long time was The Wisdom of Odin. That by no means means I'm the voice of Odin. I do not speak the 100% truth. I do not know everything. I am not the authority on Odin or Norse paganism. I never wanted to be, I never want to be. So just keep that in mind. This is my opinion, and I want to hear your opinion as well. One of the reasons I believe a lot of people get into paganism for the first time through an Odinic experience is because he is such a potent god. No matter what people tell me, both in the Christian side of things or the atheist side of things, gods are real. There are some gods that are more potent, in my opinion, than others. Ones that have much more of a connection to our human experience than others. And I believe Odin is one of those gods that so many people connect with because he is a very, very powerful, very magical, very transformative entity. Do I think he is a gray-bearded guy with one eye sitting in the sky with his spear looking down upon me? No. I've said before in a video, I believe Odin is intuition. As humans, we all have a divine connection to intuition, and it's something that we hone over the course of our life and our experiences. And I believe Odin is the manifestation of that intuition. And when you start to connect to Odin, you realize that there is a voice in the back of your head that tells you to do something. And the more you listen to it, the more you train it, the more you trust it, the more you're led down the correct path that you're supposed to walk. And I think within the story of Odin, we see a lot of those parallels in his own journey. And through my own personal experiences, the moment I started feeling that connection to divine intuition is the same time that connection to Odin came into play. And so my first few years before I created this YouTube channel or the Instagram, I really was just doing research. This is obviously a big part of Odin. You know, I've had my first religious experience. I've connected to an old Norse deity. What do I do with that now? And so those first few years, I was just reading the Poetic Edda, the Prose Edda, have them all, reading secondhand accounts of people connecting to the Norse god Odin, questioning it a lot, seeing crows, ravens in the sky, and being like, "What do you want from me, All-Father?" And I think this is a very common experience. It's one I've heard from a lot of people. It's one I still hear from a lot of people. I do feel that Odin is really good at waking people up to the potential existence of other gods. You know, I was born in these lands here, not far from here. And I was raised in the church, and so I was taught that there is only one true God, and his name is Yahweh, or Jesus. And so I think Odin, for me, and I know many others, is the first knock on the door that, hey, there's more out there. Odin, when it comes to a ritual sense, is even more potent. And this is when we start delving into, I think, the problems of worshiping Odin today. Odin is a god with many names. Over 200 names that we know of, from Odin, Wotan, Hrafnagoth, Yulnir. I mean, Heilung has an entire song about some of those names. And so when you have a god with so many different aspects, there's many different avenues to connect to. But I think The one that is the most blood pumping is being the god of ecstasy, battle, and war. And I think when you put on a ritual to Odin, when you put on the Heilung-esque warrior chant, you know, you're around a fire and you just get the drum going, or you have a Heilung song going on, or you pour a bottle of whiskey in the fire to Odin, and you really connect to that ecstatic energy, it really is an amazing religious experience. Anything that gets our blood flowing in a magical way definitely can help elevate us in a heightened spiritual sense. The darker side of that is the fact that you come to rely on it. And it's something that numbs over time. The more you do these kind of rituals to Odin, the more you have to go all out. And this is something I personally experienced. The first time I said, "Hail Odin," and poured some whiskey in a fire, of course, you know, it was like, whoa, this is so cool. But the next time it doesn't feel that way because you're getting more used to the experience. And so that's when I started, you know, ramping up my rituals. And as the more people got involved, the more people got around the fire, the more people that were pouring alcohol into the fire and saying, "Hail Odin," the more powerful it became. But it wasn't long before I realized that you just can't keep doing that. You can't just keep ramping up that ecstasy. I mean, just like a drug, you start off with a small dose, but then you start requiring more and more to feel the same effect. And I think that is kind of that danger of Odin, is you desire to keep having that ecstatic experience, and you can get trapped in it. And this is something I've experienced in talking to Odinic followers, is they constantly seek that high that comes with following him. And I think that is something I've talked about before as one of the pitfalls of Odin. Is you can stop changing, you can stop growing as you start, as you stop pursuing the wisdom and you just pursue that ecstatic experience. There is a great, great power to Odin, and I think that's something that it took me a long time to realize, and it's something that can be very dangerous if you don't realize it, and you continue down that path of the berserker and things like that. And obviously people who are involved in the military and in conflict, Odin is a powerful force to call on to, because you need that in battle. And I do believe Odin is a very popular military people because of that. But what happens when you have to come home? What happens when you don't need ecstasy, when you don't need the berserker rage? You see that in the TV shows and the fantasies about Vikings, is you have the old warriors that lived on in battle and they don't know what to do. Most of us are not warriors. Most of us are not berserker. We're moving into an age, hopefully less of war. It's something that, is undeniably human, but it's something that we need to leave behind. And so looking into Odin as a god of sacrifice is where I started going after that. What is the importance of Odin in our modern age? Because it shouldn't be of ecstasy. It's an aspect, and it's a powerful one. It's a powerful medicine. But what do we do when we want an age of peace? When we need more of an age of unity ahead of us, not this age of war? And I do believe Odin still has an important role to play in that. If you're a little bit out of the loop on my channel and my videos, one of the reasons I'm not uploading as frequently as I used to is because I'm making a different career choice, a different career path than YouTube now. And that is doing hand poke ceremonial tattoos and other tattoos in Cincinnati, where I live now. So this channel is really just a place for me to share my thoughts, what I've learned, the things I continue to experience in this life. And as we're doing with this hike, sharing the beauty of our natural world. I'm in Ohio now, a place I was born, and of course growing up here I was like, this place is super boring. It's so flat. But as you can see, there's beauty everywhere. And so if I can live in a place like Ohio and find beauty, there truly is beauty everywhere in this world. Sometimes it's a little bit more hidden than in other places, but it truly is everywhere, especially in our natural world. I was watching some woodpeckers earlier, and it was just really pretty. They had these big, beautiful red heads, just like me. But yeah, if you want to support me in my endeavors now, of course, watching these YouTube videos, liking, sharing, commenting, all that, it helps tremendously. I still love making these videos when I have the time to do them. But if you want to support me as a creator, as an artist, as a spiritual practitioner, tattoos is the best way. At some point I might do prints or things like that, but I would love to do a ceremonial hand poke tattoo for you if you're able to ever make it into Cincinnati or any place that I am going to be tattooing in as I start to travel a little bit more. I might be traveling to the UK here, doing some tattoos there. So yeah, I would love to be able to sit down with you, have a little bit of ceremony, and of course do a tattoo at the same time. So yeah, If that sounds interesting to you and you want to learn more about the art of ceremonial tattoo, I will leave a link to my website here, of course, and I would love to chat with you more about that. But yeah, enough of that. Back to the beautiful snowy walk. Odin as a symbol of sacrifice is the one that I think is the most important. It might not be the most apparent at first. It's definitely another cautionary tale. Every time I have someone come up to me and they ask, like, oh, I want to get into Odin, one of the first questions I ask is, what are you willing to sacrifice within your life? Because I think in order to really get into the deep wisdom, the deep healing that comes from Odin as a teacher and as medicine, comes from the art of sacrifice, the act of sacrifice. If there's something in your life you're not willing to sacrifice, that's most likely the thing that you're going to feel called to step away from. And so the path of Odin can be really, really challenging in that sense. For me, I really got that call of needing to uplift myself, uproot myself, and to travel the way Odin did. So quite a few years ago now, it feels like, I got rid of everything besides a few boxes, put everything I needed into a suitcase and a backpack, and I literally just bought a plane ticket and flew. And I just went where intuition told me. And it was the hardest, most rewarding, most painful, most changing, beautiful, horrible, amazing things in the universe I have ever done, or at least up until now. Profoundly changed me. I mean, quite literally physically. I've lost 50 pounds since starting that journey. I feel like a very different person. So much so, looking at an older video of mine, I almost feel like I'm looking at a different person. And that is as exciting as it is terrifying to completely change. And if that's something you want, if you really need a change in your life, Odin is great for that. But it does require a sacrifice. And I feel those sacrifices come in big and small ways. I felt incredibly lonely a lot of my time in the skies and on the road. I remember being in the fjords of Norway, a place I thought was a fantasy I'd never get to. And I was shaking my fist at the gods, angry, because I felt so alone. I was given so many blessings, but why was I so alone? But I look back at that now, and I will take every ounce of loneliness for everything that I learned. As I've said in the previous video, Odin is the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell talks about this, and Bill Plotkin, someone I talk about a lot, he talks about this, is the hero's journey. Odin really is the descent into the underworld to retrieve the gift, the elixir of life. The problem is, once you retrieve that gift, once you retrieve that elixir, once you've made your sacrifices, what do you do next? And I feel this is where Odin struggles. We see this in his own stories. He really struggles to integrate. And I think that's one of the things that makes Odin so relatable, is that he's not perfect. You can see that in the stories. He is a very imperfect being. He struggles to be a father, struggles to be a husband, he struggles to love. Odin is not a loving god. Some people may dispute me on that, but truly he is not a loving one. He's like the stern father or the wise teacher that doesn't give you a hug but will teach you so very much. These kind of figures are very important in our lives, but love is something we definitely need. And definitely after you've gone through all these sacrifices, these underworld journeys, love is something you really need to integrate. Compassion is something you really need to integrate. And if you've been a mainline Odin person, especially like me, and you turn and say, I need some love now because everything is ashes. What do I do now? How do I become reborn? How do I take up the runes? He's just going to give you silence. And this is something I definitely experienced. And so that's where I kind of found myself a year, 2 years ago, is I really needed to question, what now? I've been through the ecstasy, the knowledge, the wandering, the sacrifice. But what do I do after all of this? And that's when I came to terms with the fact that Odin isn't the best god to help put yourself back together. As I previously discussed with Brigid, this is where I found the more feminine energies. Brigid, Jorth, the earth goddess, Nehellinia, water goddesses, Sulis Minerva. I've really connected to the feminine energies, that counterpoint to Odin. Energies of water, energies of grounding. Odin is such fire energy, such wind energy. I needed those counter components to those things. And it wasn't until I fully embraced the earth, embraced the water, embraced the cold, slowed down, that I was able to finally start integrating again. And I think that's the beauty of polytheism, of animism, is there's more than just one thing to go to. You don't just have to go to Odin. And that's something I needed to be reminded of, is there's other gods and goddesses that I can connect to. And honestly, I don't think I could ever not follow polytheistic or animistic belief system, because life is so multifaceted. Life is so complicated. How can you just go to one thing for all of your answers? I need the masculine. I need the feminine. I need the chaos. I need the order. I need the smack on the wrist and being told what to do, and the sacrifice as much as I need the love. So yeah, this brings me to why I said goodbye, or at least until next time. Auf Wiedersehen. I'm sure I'll pick up the Odin torch again. I'm sure I'll be asked to make sacrifices. I'm sure I'll be asked to wander again. And I'll always make my offerings. I'll always be grateful. I always conclude Odin in my prayers. Thank you for the wisdom, All Father. Thank you for the sacrifices, for the pain. Thank you for everything I learned. But now it's time to be a husband. Now it's time to be a father. Now it's time to set down roots and to see where that takes me. And so that's kind of what led me here to this moment, to saying goodbye in this final ritual. And I brought together a lot of the elements. I brought together the ecstasy, brought together the knowledge, chanting the runes. I have the spear dancers in there. All these elements that I brought together over the years are all present in this final ceremony that I put onto him. And all my offerings were of thanks. Thank you, Odin. But I have to say goodbye for now. And that's okay. Will I change the name, the subtext of this channel, The Wisdom of Odin, fully? Probably not. It's too complicated. I'll always be grateful for the wisdom that Odin gave me. But I definitely always leave everyone with a word of caution. Are you ready for your life to change? Are you ready to not be the same person ever again? Are you ready to say goodbye to the things that you love most? Are you ready to walk the Odinic path? It will profoundly change you. You'll hate him, you'll love him. You will learn so much about yourself and the world. But it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And so if you do take that path, if you do take up the spear, the walking stick, the wide-brimmed hat, and you walk the Odinic path, good luck. I wish you all the best. I will always be grateful. But I'm also ready for some peace. Ready for some love, and to share that love.